those are the other matches that are set to take place today. So just wanted to mention that real quickly. But it looks like both teams are actually ready to start Game 2. Again, picking stage 12, that's where it begins.
It really is.
Really, really intrigued to see what happens here.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, that's why with Mage Bane, I generally like to see a solo Mage Bane and an aggressive tri-lane in the other lane, because Mage Bane's going to be able to, is one of those heroes that can still somewhat get farm, kind of similar to a Dark Lady, not quite as good as a Dark Lady, but it can still somewhat get farm, and then obviously it has that amazing escape mechanism with the blink by himself. So you don't necessarily need those heroes. And now, if you're going to have those heroes support him, you got to have them support him right away. Now, the Nymphora did come up relatively early, so good job by Insania, but like I said, I mentioned it, this might seem like a little thing, but it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that they lost lane control when Nymphora came up top lane to support them, that basically means Nymphora shouldn't have even been there, and it's not his fault. They lost lane control, and so there's nothing that Nymphora could do as far as apply pressure. Now, they did get some decent kills there up there, but it could have been so much easier, and Mage Bane would have had a much easier time if they did not lose lane control. What I mean by losing lane control is double archer. They had two archers on their side that were pushing up the lane to where they would not be able to gank them. It's kind of hard to show when I'm not on the camera here, but basically they lost lane control, and that was the huge reason for that.
Yeah. So, oh, hello again. I didn't realize. Sitting here all crunched over like, this is how I cast. No.
No, I mean like camera on the
on
game,
yours.
but,
on your game.
whatever.
But anyways, so we obviously have the locking phase even happening here. As far as the blind bands, though, again, really intrigued by that especially. And sure enough, we got a team that's Gozu. They don't want to see that hero. They just banned Draconis and then Jirazai on top of that. Ophelia and Tundra, blind banned by FiT. Again, nothing crazy about that. So they do go with the Draconis ban. We were saying, they are the Legion side. Perhaps, maybe they're going to try to run it themselves and give a go at it. But not worth it, they say. They're just going to go ahead and go with the ban. Locking phase, we got Tempest, Moraxis, Glacius, Aluna, and Empath so far, actually. So.
Yeah, and then actually, interestingly enough, Insania locks Empath. Now, this isn't the same BXF team. We all know that. But they do have some remaining members with Kzu, Zai, and Insania. And I don't know if you remember, but back in DreamHack, they ran a Predator Empath lane. And so they do value Empath as well. Now, that's another one of those heroes that I actually think is very underrated. A very, very strong support hero. Not the strongest laning support early on, but definitely hits at level 6. And it's a combination of boosting someone on your team immensely, but at the same time, you're no longer susceptible to any kind of stuns because you're in a host. So it's a very, very strong concept that I think more teams will start to slowly pick up on. It's really, really good, guys. Just trust me on it. Anyway, the final lot coming out is Cthulhu, and now the banning phase has begun. So Pebbles coming out from Insania, and then Dark Lady now as banned from Panny. So Mage Bane Silhouette's still on the board, and Nymphora now banned as well. Now that's something interesting. Insania does ban out Nymphora. They locked him and actually picked him last game.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like they utilized Nymphora that well. I mean, they had that early Portal Key Moraxis. Again, I'll say this, it wasn't necessarily their fault. There were a lot of grouping up from FiT, but that doesn't mean they can't try to look for opportunities. So, I mean, I regard Nymphora as one of the godlike heroes. I really do. Or god-tier heroes. She's so damn good. Again, Wild Soul being banned by Panny there. So as much as they do love to run Wild Soul, they recognize the fact that it's Gosu who loves to run him as well.
Yeah. You got Silhouette banned by against Gosu, so the final ban coming for Better Looking You. And again, Mage Bane, the only of those two, and now even Draconis being banned. So, of course, there still is, like I said, a Forsaken Archer. But we'll see if a Mage Bane perhaps going to be banned here. No, it's going to be Polywog Priest instead. So now the difference with this game is, of course, Fade is left unbanned. So unlike the first game, that's why we're stressing the Mage Bane so much. But Fade is left unbanned. Do you still think Mage Bane could be a solid first pick here, or would you say it's not worth it with the Fade there?
I still do, but I don't think there's any way they're going to pick him. Usually it's kind of funny. When teams lose with the hero, they kind of associate that hero with a loss, when it's really not the hero. It was just the entire draft and kind of strategy behind what they did last game. So, unfortunately, that's kind of the mindset with a lot of teams. But I feel like even though Fade's there, there's nothing wrong with picking Mage Bane with, TDL and Silhouette banned. And now, you know what? I'm going to start to have to include Draconis into these top carry heroes. It's no longer going to be this trifecta of Mage Bane, Silhouette, Dark Lady. It's going to be a quad, carry strategy here with Draconis.
Quadrific.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of time being taken up here, and now we're into extra time from Insania. Really thinking about what he wants to do for this first pick, and he does go with a Magnus. So kind of interesting. They're I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah. Well, I was going to bring up the point about Nephora as you were stressing about it. Well, there you go, actually. Fade right away picked up by Fade. And
Wow.
they go Mage Bane. So they say, we're not only going to pick Mage Bane, but we're going to make sure you can take that one really powerful, again, quote-unquote, counter that a lot of people consider to be against Mage Bane in the Fade. So that's, I mean, you said, wow, is that actually surprising to you for good or bad?
It's kind of risky. I mean, right there, that tells me they kind of have some interesting lane setups if they don't get some really strong supports. Now, there is Glacius, Aluna, and Empath in that pool there. I would assume that Aluna is going to get first picked by its Gosu. I really would, especially with that Magmus picked up. So that leaves Glacius and Empath. Now, Glacius, amazing laning support. Empath, like I said, I love the hero, and he would definitely be good with either Fade or Mage Bane. Actually, it'd be really fun to watch with Fade. Now, correct me, I don't know this for sure, and I would like to find out. Maybe someone in stream chat will tell me in 6 minutes how stupid I am. Maybe you know. If Empath jumps into somebody that's invis, someone told me that you can actually still see her dot on the map, even though she's in
Oh, I couldn't tell. I mean,
I don't know for sure. I think what happened is that used to be the case, and they changed it. Now, hopefully, I'll find that out in 6 minutes by the mass spams for people. You're dumb. No, it doesn't show her.
You're saying so you can see the
dot of
Empath
Empath
on the mini map.
So, like, say
So
Empath
not
is dark
actually-
green color, and
Yeah.
Mage Bane is pink. Or, sorry, Fade is pink. And Fade goes invis, and then Empath jumps into a Fade. Now, Fade would obviously be invis, but someone told me that you can actually
still
see
see
a
the
dark
green.
little dot on the
Flying
minimap
around.
running around. You're like, what's going on? Now, I think they actually changed that, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, if they didn't, that's an extremely useful strategy.
It's one of those cases. I'm sure if we get the chance, we'll learn it together, Trell. And after the worst things worse. After the series, maybe we can look into that. But we'll see if that becomes an option. That is a very good point to bring up, though. That is very interesting, actually, because in a sense, it gives the two heroes the stealth rather than the one even. So.
Now, some picks. No, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say. I guess it'd have to be the same thing for like a scout or even a Nighthound or something like that. So yeah, I'm not actually sure on that. That is interesting. Now, Tremble Forsaken Archer, by the way, picked up here by its Ghost. I mean, Tremble especially, but you mentioned Kizu, as I believe when in the interview that we had with him, he did say that he likes to play Tremble, and that's been brought up lately. So again, it's a different hero to see on the competitive scene, but they like to play it. But you were talking about the first game. Boris was nerfed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that takes away a little bit, but still powerful if you're playing correctly. As ever go with the Aluna first pick.
Yeah, I expected that Aluna first pick right there. It's really the strongest support here, especially when you're with a Magmus, which I really hope is going to be a farming Magmus, but for some reason I feel like it's not going to be. I feel like it's going to be a tri-lane kind of pseudo-support Magmus with Forsaken Archer, but not 100% sure. I actually think if they picked up Tempest, it would be very strong. I don't really think that its Ghostu's lineup is that strong right now, and I'll tell you why. Like, Forsaken Archer, she's good carry, but she's not going to out-carry Mage Bane. She doesn't farm as quickly as Mage Bane. If Mage Bane gets that early start, obviously she can clear out triple stack Ancients quicker. Not as quickly as Draconis now, as we figured out, but she's very susceptible to ganks. The same thing with Tremble. Like, he's a good hero and all, but he's going to get completely kited by Mage Bane. And also, he's going to get mana burned, and Fade is going to just... I feel like Fade's going to destroy this game if he gets a somewhat of a decent start. Mirax's pick, I really don't agree with that. It's kind of very awkward lanes. I feel like they should have just done 2 supports or even a Glacius Tempest. So, I don't know. Miraxis is very strong in his own regard, but I think he's a little overhyped right now. He's definitely good. Yes, we did see him tank like 4 ultimates, blah, but with Shams, I believe that was. But, that's what goes into factoring the hero. I don't know. I think he's good, but in some lineups he doesn't work. And here you got a lot of melee. Not the strongest laning support, so I feel like they would have been better suited with the Glacius Empath or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking even Glacius Tempest.
Glacius Tempest, right.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
And then, but if I'm its Ghost here, I mean, I'm definitely looking at that Tempest, yeah. So and sure enough, that they do go with the Tempest here. So that obviously synergizes very well with the team, and you already got your great support in Aluna, you got your secondary support in Magmus, Initiation, Tempest, Magmus. I mean, overall, it turns out to be a pretty good team. You do bring up a fair point, though, with Tremble, getting kited by, say, that Mage Bane, so that could definitely be an issue. But, again, Keizu definitely loves playing the hero, and he apparently knows what he's doing with it, which I'm sure we'll see this game. Now, we do see that Empath and Fade combination as well over here on FiT, although Panny's playing Fade, so I guess that it's safe to say that what I think we're going to see is a tri-lane. I mean, Fade, Empath, Morax, or Fade, Empath, Mage Bane even. But that's a double melee tri lane. It's not too often
Yeah.
we see that nowadays, especially.
That's kind of interesting. Now, the double melee is a lot of people overhype it. I'll tell you, when I was playing with B-Kid, he absolutely detests doing double melee, but I honestly don't think it's a big deal at all. It's just more of how can the heroes synergize together? Because take for example, say Andromeda. Yes, she's a ranged hero, but is she really? Like, can she really go and harass you with your auto attack because she's a range? No, like she's basically played as a melee hero, but she's thought of as a decent support hero because she has range on her. No, it doesn't really matter. It's just it's a matter of can those heroes actually support each other? And Fade kind of plays like a ranged hero in the sense of a support because you're standing from far away and you initiate with a long range stun. So I think that's okay. Now, yeah, they could do that tri-lane with the Fade, Mage Bane, Empath kind of thing. I think it'd be better if they did a tri-lane with the Miraculous and let us solo Mage Bane. But what I really hope it's Gosu does, yes, I actually like this, is a tri-lane, long lane, and do some kind of... I actually thought they were going to do Tempest solo in the short lane, but are we going to see a Tempest solo mid? Boy, that would be fun to watch.
That would be different.
we might actually even just see a Tempest jungle and then a solo mid and dueling top, but I feel like that's kind of scary. Again,
or they could also just be going up here to get the war done as soon as possible and then adjust. But yeah, I mean,
well, actually, if you look at the items for Sender, he's clearly playing support Luna. Magnus on Insania, he's I think upgraded the chicken because he doesn't have wards and he only has 7 gold with those items. So that's going to be, that's going to be a tri-lane Forsaken Archer. And we're going to see like a solo Tempest mid.
Huh.
Because Tremble is running toward the bottom. He has already placed 1 mound as he really should. He's probably going to go bottom to place this mound here as quickly as he can. Going to port back to his mound to get that mana back, and then walk to the lane to be ready to farm. But yeah, I think we're going to see a solo Tempest mid actually.
Mzai going to show us the solo Tempest mid apparently this game, and that's definitely interesting. Now, I want to go back to a point that you were talking about earlier from the selection stage when we saw FiT initially, and you were talking about how that could actually work well for FiT here. You know, if he gets off to a good start and could become the powerful FiT. But again, it's pretty obvious that he's going to be running a support role instead. How do you think that's going to be a big deal for FiT now?
Well, I think it's definitely what you have to do when you picked up Miraculous. Otherwise, you're just going to have too much farm on all those heroes. Mage Bane kind of collects all the farm. If you saw last game, too, Jonas and Fan on Draconis pretty much took all the farm, but hey, it worked out, didn't it? So, but in that regard, like, if you have Fade farming, if you have Miraculous farming, if you have Mage Bane farming, then it's all going to be kind of like sort of mediocre farm, whereas here you're going to have better farm on 2 heroes, so... and again, I think support Fade is strong. I think the hero in general is very, very strong, and there's a reason why we're seeing more and more teams pick it up.
Yeah. Well, apparently FiT is ready now, so having the quick restroom break to start the game, but it looks like we are good to go, and back into the game we go. So, well, look at that, actually. FiT, right after the pause, it initially looked like they were even heading top, but nope, they go right bottom, and now they're even heading towards mid, so it's almost as if there's some uncertainty going on here. From the Hellborn side in terms of exactly where they want to be going. But now it looks like they're actually heading back towards the top lane. And so very likely you could see try versus try up here as a result of this. But like I was saying, also just because it's Starland, it's because he is going to try to get that ward down, and they should be successful with this. You see the Hellborn Courier is going to spot the Legion team just like the Legion Courier did with the Hellborn side, but the ward gets placed, so... no pulling going on, but now the tri-lane from FiT, it looks like they're going to be adjusting bottom here. So they do not want to deal with the Aluna, Magnus, and Forsaken Archer tri-lane. Now, again, the question is, will we see It's Ghost to make an adjustment? Because Tremble did not place a mound down here. Or he still hasn't, at least. So this is some mind games going on to start off this game now.
Well, this was some initial good laning by It's Ghost. I mean, they pretty much knew that Bubbles was going to be bottom. That was quite obvious. And they were thinking, well, Tremble is just going to... Actually, yeah, they are going to do lane swapping. He's Tremble place that mound, and it's going to TP back to the bottom lane, and now it's going to go mid, maybe? Oh, no, he just did that. Now he's going to go right back bottom. So they did not understand the swap. Tempest is going to be suiciding long lane here. Are we going to see a tri-lane middle breaky? I don't know. This is like a straight-up tri-lane mid.
This is interesting.
But no, very, very good switcheroo there from... Team FiT. You do not want to have a Bubbles against Tremble. I've played the matchup as Tremble, and you just, it's a free win,
it's like not even try hard. It's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and sit here and do my thing, and you have your fun.
So Bubbles is going to be up against Tempest. That's a great lane for him. He actually, I feel like he even has an edge there if he's very aggressive on the Tempest. and Tremble's going to have a really, really hard time in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
And, Mageman's going to get basically complete farm. Yeah, we're seeing a straight-up tri-lane mid against a Meraxes. I don't like this at all. It's also support Magnus, which I really don't like. They're going to try something here, but no. Right there, you see, and they know something's up. They have a good ward there placed by Panny early on, so... Oh, this lane setup from Mets go through. They're going to lose, like, basically every single lane. Well, obviously not losing the tri-lane mid, but when you're not doing anything mid, you're basically losing it if you try.
Yeah, it's not really accomplishing enough. So they are going to send a Luna and Magnus down here. This is what I was going to bring up. Are we going to see a Tremble part of the tri-lane, or is Forsaken Archer eventually going to make her way down here as well? Which I would think to be the case, but... I don't know, but no matter what, we are going to see a Luna and Magnus come down here. Now, they did run past this ward aside here. Of course, that's a place to block the camp, the jungle camp that is, so the Hellborn team very aware now of this adjustment. But even if they make the adjustment fully, I mean, it does take the time off. So, still, that's, it's resources used to do so. You see KZU playing a little bit aggressive here, obviously knowing that he has some teammates now. And that will force Magebane to play a lot more passive now as a result of that as well. So, what do you think? Can Gosu commit to a tri-lane Tremble here, or will they have to make Tremble and Forsaken switch?
No, they can commit to this tri-lane. I definitely don't think they could switch. Tremble is actually fine on a tri-lane. He's got a very, very good slow right there with this third ability, his passive. I think if they decided to switch, it would just be, like you said, too many resources lost. And Forsaken Archer, he's going to have a fine time in mid against Meraxes. It's kind of even there with Meraxes going those correct items with the shield hatchet. This lane is really going to come down to how well can Bubbles do top, and if he can roam around once he hits level 6. And also, if Magnus can hit up a level 3 soon, which it's not going to be because he's only level 1 and he's going to get all that shared experience. And look at all that actually damage coming out. You see those 2 auto attacks from Tremble come out and Magebane actually did quite a lot of damage. So, yeah, this tri-lane for bottom here is actually going to be doing quite well. Yeah, he is leveling up the Impalers first. We see the Luna stun coming out. Empath maybe in a little bit of trouble. Magnus does have a stun. Nice wall there from Empath, buying a little bit of time there as Tremble had to go around, but there we go. The Essence Link going to be, he's trying to keep him alive. Not going to happen, though. Bloodlust kill coming out from its Gosu. So just as you were talking about again, I was a little bit thrown off by a tri-lane Tremble, but as you mentioned, it definitely has some chance, and sure enough, we see right there that third ability, the Impalers, actually is pretty powerful for not only slowing, but the lifesteal that it brings, and the bonus magic damage. So... again, works out very well there. They're going to switch again
for Tremble. And the Hellborn team, they're porting top. They say, you know what, not going to happen. And this will mean Bubbles will eventually go back to the bottom lane where, as you already put it, Bubbles versus Tremble, not the most ideal matchup for Bubbles. Now, Bubbles was actually doing very good up here against Tempest, it looks like, as well on top of that. He was 13-3, which against a 9-7 Tempest right now. And you see Tempest take up a bit of pressure. But Bubbles now at the bottom lane, and I'm sure he's hating life here.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Hey, you're doing good, but we're going to move you into a crappier lane, so good luck, have fun.
Yeah.
Actually, he's doing the right thing, though. Tremble did have some Gimped experience. He's got 1,300 gold saved up, though, for KZU, so if he gets that Ring of Health, he should be fine. But, yeah, good pressure there from Probusk early on. That's exactly what you have to do, but now there's its Ghosted. They're responding as well, but this is going to be a little bit easier because now they're playing it against the, the hard lane. And it's not like, the Tempest plus Magnus plus a Luna tri-lane is, the best. Especially when Tempest has kind of expended all her mana. She did go with an early bottle in the lane, so I don't know if I really agree with that. Usually you'd like to see something like a Ring of Sorcery in a lane like that. When you go bottle, you want to camp those runes, but he's not really going to be able to do that when he's in the lane all the time. So I don't know about that. And Vizrun picked up by a Luna, so they might be able to start something here if if someone's caught off guard. They did see them pick that up, though, with a Ward of Sight from Panny, so that's probably why. And actually, the Ward of Revelation comes out, so I think Sender, obviously knows that because the creeps were beat aggressive on him.
Yeah, and now, of course, again, we see the good old classic Tempest tri-lane up here being ran by its Gosu, obviously being a little bit sarcastic there. But, yeah, that's definitely just something unique in itself. Now, Empath can throw at the wall as they did a little bit of jump there on a Magebane, but he is going to be more than fine. So, I mean, you do see Magebane, he's obviously doing what he can to get in some creep farm here and there. Right now he's 15-6. Tempest definitely has been picking up, especially since Bubbles has left, and they're going to go on to Magebane once again. Burning Shadows done for Fade, and the blink out actually for Magebane in time, and actually FiT is going to help finish off Magnus right there. It's Archie Tiger on Empath, got credit for the kill, so great counter kill happening right there, and Magebane full life once again as the health push and used on top of him. So the Fade Empath combination actually comes through, and that wall has been very annoying here for the Legion team, as you would expect in this laning phase so far. So props to Archie Tiger for making some nice walls happen, and again, a good counter kill, their first kill of the game there.
Yeah, I don't know if it seemed like Sender was kind of hesitant there to cast his power throw, but if he was just, I don't know, more impulsive and did it right away, he actually would have got that kill on Magebane, but Magebane got the blink out, and actually the power throw missed from Sender there. So I wasn't quite following exactly what he was doing in that little sequence there, but yeah, it's unfortunate. That was a very, very close kill on Magebane. He almost died, but the health potion now and brings him up to full HP, and now he also copies the Keizu build, so to speak, and picks up that early Mystic Vestments. Mystic Vestments plus Mana Battery, by the way, is an extremely effective combination against a tri-lane. Obviously, when you're up against a tri-lane, 3 heroes casting spells, you're going to get that Mana Battery to get spells or to get charges up very, very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, we see once again they were trying to go into Magebane with a Glacial Blast, but Magma's not able to get a range just close enough. And once again with a wall coming out from Empath, causing some issues. So not successfully able to go through with the gank. Now, something I wanted to bring up too, the last point I was meant to make was this game, I mean, obviously it has finally slowed down here, but this is one of the more crazy changing it up early on games that I've seen as far as, you know, the mental play coming to play with switching lanes up. But we do see another jump here on Empath. Empath will fall this time despite the wall right there. So this time the stun's a little bit too powerful. Poor coming in, FiT pushing up. That Kelpho going to be used actually from Bubbles, but in comes for a second archer. Crippling volley and the piercing arrows miss. The split shot will be enough to get the kill on a fade right there actually. So good job getting 1 kill. But man, that was, he went for it all. And again, that case of going for it all, ends up getting nothing out of it. Granted, he did get the kill onto Fade once again. And actually, Bubbles is not done just yet. He goes back in on a Tempest, says, hello, I'm back. But Tempest is going to fall back to the tower, and he will be fine in the end. So, see some adjustments from both teams again being made, or I guess more some counter ganks even, as it ends up being a 1-for-1. All right, actually, no one died on the Legion. Or, Luna died, right? Yeah, but no, she didn't die. So, yeah, no one died on the Legion team.
Yeah, I was watching on the bottom, too. It's a lot of pressure going on Meraxis there, but that's the second regen rune he had. It basically followed him up from nothing to full, so really lucky runes there. But yeah, in that sequence we saw Magebane jump on the Aluna instead of going on the Magmus, and I feel like if he just would have jumped on the Magmus after he stunned, he would have been able to Mana Bird him so quickly that he wouldn't have had time to use that Steam Bath. And even if he had Steam Bath, that Fade Stun couldn't take him out of it. So I feel like they could have just gotten the kill on the Magnus with them jumping in. Oh, I missed something. What
Tempest ultied Bubbles and completely missed it. He went for the all-in play. He hit the Glacial Blast. So after the first stun for the Glacial Blast, Bubbles used the Shell Serve, but Zai was banking on him not being able to port in time that he could ulti him before he actually ported with the Shell Serve, but he just ported right before the Tempest ultimate came out. And so that's where you see the oh god happening.
I'm typing /ping all, but sorry, Zai, you only got 90 ping.
Yeah, this is basically an EU versus EU matchup. So obviously you got Sender over there, the American, but other than that, all Europeans, I believe. So yeah, really unfortunate that Umzai missed that kill. And I'm sure Probusk is definitely happy also to be up here back at the top lane against Tempest. And speaking of Tempest, once again, Magebane jumping in comes a Kelpho. Actually, as Magebane looking to apply the pressure. He doesn't have a Mana Rift, but it might not matter. He has another blade coming up right here. Should be enough for the kill. Bottle charge is being used by Tempest. Will it be enough to stay alive? No, it will not. The final auto attack actually from Probusk on Bubbles. Gets the kill right there. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, a lot of pressure coming out. You see the Empath wall, not enough to protect it. This tower very likely going to fall. Invulnerability going to be used, though, as Meraxis jumps in. Getting caught by the crippling volley right away. Meraxis, though, now in pursuit with Bubbles and Fade. However, no Kelp field, and they'll get away. And the tower gets the net on top of that. So, ended up working out fairly well there for FiT.
Yeah, good job from Archie Tiger right there. And Sequence, they realized that they needed 2 auto attacks there to get that denied properly against that Boris. And so they did get it. So very, very good communication right there. So yeah, they were able to get the tower denied. The tower did still fall, but luckily that was Meraxis porting and not someone else, like a Bubbles or Magebane, as they would have pretty much been destroyed. But yeah, all in the meantime, though, Tremble is kind of having his own way down here. He's the top farmer in the game, 305 gold per minute. He is sitting at a, what are we looking at, 43 and 12 creep score. Forsaken Archer is still having a very good game herself. He's almost up to 50 CS in 10 minutes, so that's kind of standard. You'd like to see it a little bit higher, but you know, it's kind of hard to get full farm in the mid lane because there's always stuff going on there. But you know, good job nonetheless by Chubby Chris.
Yeah, yeah, he is. That's very true. I mean, obviously you mentioned Forsaken Archer a couple times as far as action, especially at the top lane where he came in and got the assist at least, but he's been kind of been quiet other than that here in the middle lane, but obviously accomplishing quite a bit. 300 plus GPM up there with Tremble, and then it falls off from there. for both sides. Tempest a little bit, but then even further than that, you got Magebane, Moraxis, and Bubbles all around. It's 230 go per minute themselves. It could get a little bit worse here, though, as Magebane maybe in a little bit of trouble. But no, actually, Magma's going to be the one in trouble. Nice Essence Leak Stun right there from Empath. In goes Magebane. And Lunastun, though, and the Lava Surge out from Magmus, going to survive. You see right there the Kalefield, though, going to catch both Tempest and Illuna, but Forsaken Archer coming in this time. The Crippling Volley lands. There's that great piercing arrows. Down goes Magebane right there. Fate will fall as well. So Chubby Chris, too, gets some revenge after missing the first time he came to the top lane. Moraxis jumps in again, lets him know who he is, but unfortunately the stunner from Magmus. A hasted Moraxis, though, but a nice stun from Boris right there, buying some more time. He is still chasing Illuna. Maybe likely more stuns happening, but it looks like Illuna will fall when it's all said and done. Moraxis is going to keep diving, but finally turns to his right and is going to head back towards his side of the base. Now, Tempest is still over here, actually. He does have a Homecoming Stone. He's, in fact, going to start applying some pressure now to Bubbles. Gets the the Glacial Blast off, but Bubbles will be more than fine as well. So, great turnaround there from the leading team. And Forsaken Archer, again, good timing on her part.
Oh, no, he does actually get the black hole off. He's coming out. The phase stun actually cancels it, though, so he does fall. So another wasted ulti there coming out from his eye. That's very unfortunate. I think he wanted to man up with all those minions that he had that were kind of split. And Magma's coming in here applying some pressure to Panny there. And actually, Panny, I think, is going to fall. Magebane coming here to maybe support, but a little too late there. So an exchange there for Panny for Zai. I'll take it since that ultimate is down now for Tempest.
Well, Boris also got an assist right there for Kizu, so yeah, that was actually worked out pretty well for him in the end. But yeah, obviously the thinking was that he was going to get those two. Magmus actually poured it in, so if it wasn't for the Burning Shadow stun, that could have worked out beautifully there for Tempest. So I could definitely see where Imzat was going. But again, it's just a case of you have the right idea. Unfortunately, it just isn't executed correctly, or at least 100% the way you wanted it to, and so it looks a lot uglier than maybe it was intended to be. Moraxis is going to run into both Magmus and Tempest there, but he quickly falls back before any initiation happens. But again, you got Kizu down here at the bottom lane. He's just been free farming. He's been doing some good microing on top of that. Again, he's made the point he loves to play this hero. Now he is going to get caught here by Kel'Thuzon. So much for free farming. Magebane and Moraxis jumping in, but look at him ring around the freaking Rosie, going around the mounds, and he's going to maybe escape right here. Wow, the speed you can see on Tribble. Are we going to see ports? Ports are coming in. Is it going to be enough? Yes, they come in the Mana Rift. Not enough for the kill. In comes the piercing arrows on top of the crippling ball, and a lot of damage coming out. And Moraxis, all of a sudden, he's on the run. The power throw going to finish him off, and Bubbles and Magebane have to fall back. What an escape from Kizu right there. I love the ring around the Rosie strategy of going through the two mounds, and it worked out beautifully for him.
That was really, really well done, and great response from coming out from both Forsaken Archer and Sender. One of the things you don't see from a lot of teams is there's a bug in his face. One of the things you don't see a lot from players who are playing a carry role is you see that a lot of movement. Sometimes you get into the habit of thinking, you know, oh my, I got to farm, guys. I can't TP. Someone else has got to TP. I got to farm. But that's not necessarily the case. When you have, you know, abilities that are very strong, and Forsaken Archer definitely has those, why not use them? And so it's great to always have that TP there, available and ready to go for, you know, easy counters like that. So great job by Chubby Chris. That's a number of times I've seen him do that. We did see him kind of airball it once, but it doesn't matter. The fact is that you're actually trying to use those abilities. It's better to throw them out there and maybe miss completely than not, you know, throw them out there at all.
Yeah.
And that goes to same thing for Zai there on the Tempest. You know, by all means, I am happy that he's actually throwing out his ultimate and using it there, because there's nothing worse than having a Tempest just sit there and have that ability not be used. It's better to actually at least try and get something done with it. So
yeah, it's always, obviously as a Tempest player, the most beautiful thing is getting that all five in that one ultimate. That's what you're always looking for. You're like, oh, this sweet spot right there. But you know, sometimes you gotta take those risks, and you gotta use that just to get one kill even. You think with a huge AoE pull, and it's like you have to hit multiple heroes. I mean, no, if you get the kill, then it's definitely worth it, or at least in most cases. So yeah, you definitely can't blame Imzai by any means. Like I said, I definitely completely understand what he was thinking for both of them, for that matter. It just so happens that it's been on the wrong end rather than the right end of getting the ultimate land and having some fun right there in chat, obviously. But I will say, I wanted to bring up Jonas Fan once again, and on Magebane, obviously a fantastic carry player for Team FiT, but this time around, his farm, you know, not doing so well. 210 gold per minute here. Now 13 minutes in, obviously still fairly early on. He does have Steam Boots. You mentioned the Mystic Vestments early on as well, the Mana Battery, but it seems like he just hasn't really been able to go anywhere to just get consistent farm. The Legion team constantly keeping him harassed.
Yeah, and that's why You know, with Magebane, I really feel like it's much better to actually just throw him in a solo role. I feel like he does so much better. I'd like to see him more in a solo role and then be more aggressive with the other heroes, so like a Trilane Mirax or something. That's what I originally wanted. Because when you throw support heroes at him, the likelihood of you having some kind of aggression come against him is very high. Especially when you have heroes like Luna, Magnus, Forsaken Archer. That's a very good Trilane right there. Yeah. Now, they ended up having Forsaken Archer mid, so that wasn't the case. Yeah. But Luna Magnus right there, you can kind of pair that up with anything. We saw him go up with Tempest, it was fine. We saw him go with Tremble, yeah. It was fine. So, yeah, it's a lot of aggression coming out from those two heroes specifically, and I'd rather see the solo Magebane.
That's so true, though. I mean, when you think about it, it was Luna and Magnus, and they literally were in a tri-lane with all Tempest, Tremble, and Forsaken Archers throughout the whole early phase. And that goes back to what I was trying to reiterate, where this early game, especially that early laning phase, we had the most adjustments as I've seen in most competitive matches ever. I mean, that was just pretty crazy how both teams constantly were moving around in the beginning of the game. But, you know, it's trying to play those mind games, trying to get in that right situation, and the other just kept reacting to it. So. But right now, here we are at a 7-4 hero kill advantage. But we also saw right there while you were mentioning about Magebane, both the bottom and the top tower went down in favor of Team It's Ghost, basically at the same time even. So the gold lead jumped up. It's now up to 7,600 gold lead on top of 4,300 experience lead. So now, as funny as it is, as odd as it is to say, this can be somewhat of a benefit, at least for Magebane a little bit, that now the lane is pushed up because of that tower being dead. So as long as they have their jungle warded, and as long as they're paying attention to that mini-map, you know, maybe he can get some free farm up here, which he is right now. For the time being, some much-needed free farm at that. But Legion team, I wouldn't be surprised to continue to see them playing aggressive. I mean, we see right here, Tremble going to activate the Dark Storm, jumping on top of Bubbles, not going to get a kill, but really just pushing him back, and at least just scaring him, if anything. So, Tremble, by the way, he has 1,400 gold saved up. He already has his Helm of the Black Legion, his Steam Boots, and so what do you think? What would you expect to see here next on Tremble?
Definitely a Bulwark.
Okay.
There's no other contender there on that team for a Bulwark, so I definitely think Bulwark is in store. And It's Ghost is doing a really, really smart thing. They understand that that the Hellborn team cannot fight in team fights right now with Magebane. That's one of the drawbacks from when you pick a hero like Magebane, is they generally can't team fight that well unless they go for an early item like a Helm of the Black Legion. But I mean, that doesn't mean that Magebane can't come in and blink and support the team, but he has to do it at the very end of a team fight. Mm-hmm. He has to go in after everyone else has already kind of expended their spells. Again, Empath is here. He's trying to get some farm, trying to get that level 6, and I was gonna say, well, Fade is level 6 now, guys, so maybe we can see some roaming around. But Fade doesn't even have boots yet. So.
Well, and also she just literally spent at least 15 seconds taking out a mound, just auto attacking it by herself. It's ridiculous how much life those things have, especially in the early game. But anyways. So yeah, she is not having the greatest time here. Game being played by Penny for FiT, of course.
No boots in 16 minutes.
It's not a friendly start. She has 2 minor totems, and that's it. She is level 6, as you mentioned, but without boots, you know, really how powerful is that? The bottom tower, it is going to fall right here. Just a matter of denying it not. In fact, we do see a Kelp going to be his, but where's the follow-up? Miraxis jumps in, activates the ultimate. Here comes Fade, actually, with that ultimate activated. Tempest going to get locked in on Tempest. Will end up falling, but the eruption going off on top of the piercing arrows, and the damage is just way too much here for FiT to handle. Miraxis will fall. Magebane already dying in the midst of that. Empath also, of course, picked off as well. So even with Tempest getting picked off from the beginning, it just didn't matter. You mentioned they can't really get in a team fight right now. We saw perfectly why right there. Completely won by It's Ghost. They're going to clean up the melee racks, and very likely the range racks to follow. I mean, now resurrections are pretty quick still, because it's still very early on in this game. But Magnus actually stuns on a Fade. Are we going to have any follow-up? Not enough for the kill, but enough to get him back. So they get the melee racks, and it looks like they're going to be happy with that as Tremble pushes to the top lane. So
yeah, they actually probably could have got the kill if Forsaken Archer wanted to go on that with a volley as well. But I think his intentions were, don't go in, guys. Just right-click those racks, because we're going to get those racks. So, yeah, I don't blame Chubby Chris at all. I think he did make the smart play. But 17-minute racks right there. Wow. Very, very early. And some very, very good plays and combos with spells coming out from It's Ghost. But at the same time, some extremely sloppy positioning coming out from Team FiT. So, yeah, I don't know about that, especially when you have I mean, Miraxis kind of just walked in there and cast this stun. And it's one of those things when you don't have a portal key, your positioning is very, very important. You can be very susceptible to combos, and look at all these spells. You got the void coming out from Tempest. The Magma Stun can set up some very easy volleys as well as some piercing arrow ultimates coming out from Forsaken Archer. The stun from Aluna is very, very strong. He's almost got that level 4 Emerald Lightning stun. That coupled with his ult is just so powerful. You get that 5-second stun to somebody, it's just devastating. And then all in the midst of it all, you got Tremble running around, slowing people, snaring people, doing a lot of damage. And he's got 3,600 gold saved up right now. I wonder what he's going to buy, because I figured if he's going to buy a Bulwark, he would have already had it by now.
Yeah, I mean,
Portal Key picked up by
earlier
Magnus,
on in the game. Yeah, that's huge, of course. On that note, real quick, though, I mean, back to Tremble. I was going to say earlier on in the game, with that much gold being pulled up, you usually see sort of the high into the mock, and from your ugh, it sounds like a ugh of disgust right there, Trev.
It is. I mean, I would like to say at this point it doesn't matter, but it really does. And this game is not over yet. It's still throwable. And I just don't understand it. I would rather build myself tanky, get that. I mean, Bulwark, it's a great team item. You get it early on, you're going to push well with it. It synergizes especially well with Tempest. Or, sorry, well, himself, his own hero is Tremble Pet. I mean,
yeah.
it synergizes very well. It gives that negative armor to towers. Now, the Sword of the High, it doesn't do anything as far as make you tanky. Yes, it's very good, especially against a supporting cast that's very gimped. I mean, Panty's 96 gold per minute, Archie Tiger 90 gold per minute. It's going to hurt a lot, but man, this game's not over yet, so, I mean, it's still very, very strong. Basically, if they're going to start to win a team fight, they're going to win it completely.
Yeah.
With that Sword of the High or Mock pickup. But I'd rather see a Bulwark, something a little bit more safe. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's probably not going to be that big of a deal, but if this game was to get thrown and they were to lose a team fight, that's going to directly affect them. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, he should have that Mocker Brilliant. Well, maybe not. I mean, he is pushing the bottom lane while the rest of his team is pushing the top lane. You see, in fact, he's going to go on right here. Moraxis just used his Quake Stun right before Tremble came in, so knowing that he has a free reign right here to do some damage, he does, but he's going to fall back. Meanwhile, the top tower, though, goes down in favor of Team It's Gosu. So now with only one outer tower remaining in the middle, of course, with the bottom already cleared out, I said about a 17.5-minute Rax down there. And now they're just going to aggressively push the top lane. Again, this is the great thing about Tremble. Sure, he's pushing the bottom lane right now, but he does have a mount up here up top that he can easily port to. And in fact, he has Boris up here. I don't know if he has enough mana to place him out with that, but he does port to the top lane, so he's going to be joining the party. Magnus stuns in. There's a crippling volley that's going to miss, actually. Now Morax is with the counter, and Tempest once again getting locked out. Can he get off the ultimate? He runs away with the Astrolabe. He puts the Comet down. No Tempest ultimate coming out, though, but the piercing arrow's doing enough damage. Gets one kill right there on Moraxis. We see another one on the Fade, and there's the eruption jumping from Magnus. Unfortunately, joining the party a little bit late right there. And he actually gets killed by Magebane, and with Empath inside. You see Bubbles in the front lines now, and Forsaken Archer actually a lot of damage. Moraxis, of course, buying back. Forsaken Archer is going to fall right here, but now you see Tremble and Aluna still alive. Tremble getting caught by the Quake Stun. He's going to need to get away right here. Aluna gets taken out, trying to Homecoming Stone out by Magebane, and this is that turnaround that you're talking about. FiT looking good right here, and Tremble very likely, unless he has another ring around the relay, but the wall put up. Going to cut him off. There's a Bubble Showstep, the Song of the Sea, and the final auto attack coming out. The quad kill for Jonathan Fan on Magebane, and that is exactly what FiT needed. Now the bottom lane, the ranged Rax is getting very close to dying down here, but Fate comes in time to save it, so that's going to be good as well. That starts the possible comeback here for FiT now. That's
exactly what I was talking about. Now you're sitting with the Sword of the High, like, uh-oh, guys, I should have bought that item. Yeah, that Magnus ulti really did nothing. I mean, he had good intentions. He used the ulti and channeled it up, but he went on to two heroes that were already dead. And then, Magebane was able to pick up that very easy kill on him, just blinked in and hit him once, and he was dead. And so that Empath with that Magebane is proven to be very, very strong, and this is exactly the space they need. I mean, yes, they do have the racks down, but it's not the biggest, deal in the world. I mean, Magebane can push that up quite easily with his Rune Cleaver, and they have some good spells. They get this Portal Key up on Moraxis. Fade now actually has some levels. He's level 7. They're not out of this by any means. I mean, this is definitely throw potential. Now the Mock is up on Tremble, but I really don't think that's going to be the biggest deal in the world. I really don't. Now he's gonna help him get some solo kills. He's actually going to go in this Magebane, but look, oh, whoop-de-doo, he just blinks away. So that's why in the beginning I said Tremble is not the greatest against Magebane. But yeah, we'll see how this pans out. We're starting to get a game now.
Yeah, Magnus stuns Magebane, but again, Magebane just blinks right after and is going to be fine. Something I wanted to bring up, I keep meaning to bring up, but we've actually had several instances of it now being a big effect. Now, we're on Zai a little bit earlier for obviously missing a couple ultimates. We're saying how we can definitely get the thinking. It's just unfortunate he missed. Now, he chose to go Astrolabe, and in fact, now he just finished a Shaman's Headdress, so he is not going a Portal Key here against FiT. Do you agree with that? I mean, do you think that's the smartest decision?
I think that is the smartest decision. I mean, it's going to be really hard to get an effective ulti. Basically, it's one of those things is, if you're going to get a Portal Key, you got to get every single person in your ultimate.
Oh, he tried to jump right there to Tempest, but a great counter jump by Magnus coming in now. Tempest will go down to the Mana Rift as Mage Bane finally got it off, and the rest of the team just going to have to fall back. You see Magnus at half-life trying to get away. He's getting hit by the Axis, though. He will barely stun it in time, but will it be enough? You see Empath giving the speed burst to Mage Bane right there. The Essence Lake comes out. That's why we stress it's so powerful that Empath is. She goes inside the hero. She can still use all of her abilities. It keeps her alive, and it enhances the person that she's in. So very powerful combination. And it ends up picking up another double tap here for Jonathan Fan, who all of a sudden, 370 gold per minute. Again, we talked it several times earlier. He's been struggling early on in this game, but now he's at 370 gold per minute, and he's that Mage Bane that you're just you start to be a little bit more scared of. He has 2,000 gold saved up, just about. So going to be bigger and better. So, but you mentioned Tempest, no Portal Key, not too surprising. It is difficult, but on that note, he hasn't had a successful Tempest ultimate yet, and he hasn't attempted multiple ones other than really the 2 initial ones, but he hasn't been able to get them off because the Hellborn team keeps jumping him.
It's really, really hard to play a Tempest and get an